Hey guys, welcome back out in the garage. Today I'm going to do a little video on thermostat, okay, for the 335 series, okay, the Ford 335 series, which would be the 351 Cleveland, the 351M, and the 400, okay. I'm not going to really discuss or talk about how the water or the coolant flows, through the block and to the heads and all that. There's plenty of videos on that, okay? What I'm gonna show you today is a little more of a roadside service type deal. If you have a failure, okay, on your thermostat, say it's just stuck open or stuck closed and you happen to be traveling, or it's a Friday and the companies that sell the correct thermostat is closed, and then now you're out there somewhere and you're gonna have to wait 3 or 4 days for them to ship it to you, and you may be at a destination where you don't have an address because you're in between towns or whatever, or passing through, or just somewhere out there. You'll see what I'm saying. So basically, I'll show you kind of how this works, and then you can make you a little kit. All right, some kind of a kit. I'll show you what I did, and then you can make your own little kit the way you want to do it, and then you can throw it in your glove box. You can put it in your toolbox in the trunk, or how you want to carry it, okay? Even into a little duffel bag or something, so that if you ever come across an issue, then you can continue moving on, because there are part stores on every major intersection. There's a fast food, a part store, a bar, and a church, right? So you got it made, all right? I don't see you really getting too stranded, and you can always carry another thermostat with you as well, okay? So the correct thermostat for a 335 series basically looks like this, okay? A big body. It's got this hat on it right here. Okay, so this is the Robert Shaw 333 right here. Okay, this is the correct one. It's been the correct one since day one of these 335s. Okay, and but there's only a few companies that have these. Okay, there's one major company, and then I think he gives, or sales, or however he does it, to a few other companies. So there's a few places you can get these, all right? Your local auto parts store doesn't have this exact one. I'll show you that. Like a lot of them sell this guy here, all right? And it's a big body one, as you can see. Let me take it out. Okay, this one looks the same if you're looking at it, except it doesn't have the hat, okay? See how you have the hat on this one versus the other one, okay? But the bodies, this part all looks the same. Of course, the manufacturers are two different places, if you get my drift, what that is. So this one here without the hat is everywhere, okay? You can almost buy these everywhere in about 3 or 4 different temperature ranges, okay? So now, if you just happen to be a guy that's using the correct one, and you're on a road trip, or you're just finishing a project, or whatever you're doing, and now you need that thermostat because you want to go test it, or you want to, or you're driving, and you have, let's say there's just a failure, okay? No thermostat is 100% foolproof, okay? They can all have an issue, but you can only get this one. So I want to show you what I did in a little, then maybe you can make you a little kit, okay? This one here that you can get everywhere is this one here, same one, except I put a hat on it. See, there's a hat on it, okay? Now this one's going to work a little more to what it should be compared to the one without the hat. And actually, a lot of guys run this without the hat, and I have too. I am guilty of it also in the past. And it does work, and I'll kind of explain that a little bit too, but it does actually still work, but maybe not as great, you know, as the ones with the hat. So what the whole idea is inside of the block, you have a bypass plate, okay? You have this plate, looks like this. Some people, or you can call it a restrictor plate. I've heard it both ways, and it doesn't matter what you want to call it. It's a bypass plate or a restrictor plate. Whatever you want to call it is going to be fine, okay? And how this works is, we'll take the original Robert Shaw. This is the real one, the real deal. Okay, so here's how it sits, let's say, when it's just running, okay? And you just start it in the morning. It's not opened yet. And what's going on is it's going through the heads and block. Again, I'm not going to preach all how that works. And it's bypassing through here, okay? And then into it. All right, it's bypassing through. Now, as this temperature comes up and it starts to open, the hat, let me see if I can kind of show this. The hat starts to go inside there. Let me just set it like that, just to kind of give you an idea. It doesn't stick all the way through, as you can see. Okay? The hat starts to go in. So now it starts to restrict that bypass. Now the water is going through the radiator, okay? It's going up and out through the radiator, okay? So, looking at without a hat, same thing. You can see it in there, but see, it's not restricted as much. See how much I can move that? See? Versus the Robert Shaw. See that? It still moves all around, but it does restrict more. And if this body ever reaches the plate, it also seals it, okay? So, now, with that said, I'll just show you how I put a hat on just a store brand or a auto parts store, just so I can keep moving to my destination. I can keep traveling if I have to, okay? It looks like I got a lot of stuff here. And your first time you do it, you're gonna have probably a lot of different stuff out on your bench because you're trying to figure all this out. But then once you do it, your next one, if it ever happens, will be, you know, simple because you already know what you used and you'll be carrying it with you, let's say. And because like I say, you can't always just get the Robert Shaw. I mean, you may not be able to wait. So I'm not saying once you do this to keep it in either. I mean, you can keep it in and then order you another Robert Shaw, and you don't care when it comes in because you have this. Or you can take this one out and put it in your toolbox or whatever in the car or the truck or whatever you got as your backup, okay? So, this is basically how I did it. And I'm not actually gonna do this one. I'm just using it for a dummy, but I'm not gonna hook the hat on yet. I'm gonna leave it like this for now. So, basically, this is what I did. All you need, if you do it the way I do it, this is all it took. But again, you can figure out your own way you want to do it, okay? Once you see how I do it, you might say, well, I know an easier way, you know, and that'd be great, you know what I'm saying? So basically, just get an O-ring kit, you know, like an O-ring kit. And that everybody should have these anyway and carry them with you. O-rings are always cool to have. And it doesn't matter, like this is the metric one, that's all they had, but it can be a metric or, you know, the good old USA. So then you need, believe it or not, you guys recognize those? Spark plug indexers. Look at all those hats. You got all different kinds in there. All the same size, but different thicknesses and a couple different colors. I went with see, this is more of the brass color, okay, which they have brass in here, but the brass in here are a lot thinner than the other two, okay? So I went with the silver, or the silver color, because it's thicker, it's a little more heavier. So, but the brass ones actually, go on easier because they crimp easier. And I believe you can use any of them that you want, but I just didn't want, both of them looking the same. Okay, I mean they're basically the same as everything else goes. Whoop, my fingers went the way, aren't they? Like this is all the same, but I just didn't want them the same color. Okay, when I was showing this, and again, I didn't show this, but the silver one also goes right in. See, it moves just like the other one does, and it fits. See, you can kind of see it up there on top. See how far down it's sitting? And then the Robert Shaw, see, sits down there also, about the same. So now I'll show you how I did it. Basically, I took an O-ring. Let me just go ahead and grab an O-ring. And what's cool about these kits, about 4 or 5 of these O-rings, even though they're all different sizes, will actually go on that. You can stretch them on there, okay? So basically, let me just get one that are going kind of loose because I just want to demonstrate. So basically, all I did was took that and I stuck an O-ring on it and I pushed it all the way down, okay? Just like that. And the reason for the O-ring, and you don't have to keep it on there. I still have it. You can see I still have it on mine, but you can cut that off the razor blade when you're all finished. But I'm leaving it on. I don't think it's gonna hurt anything. But if you feel bad about having that rubber piece in there, then you can always just cut it off. But anyway, I put the O-ring on there first. Then you take one of your spark plug indexers, okay? And you can get these at, you probably order these through a parts house or speed shops or whatever. Spark plug indexers. And if you look, they don't go on, okay? It does not go on. Oh, I don't know how I can do it without my fingers in the way. See, they don't go on. So, which is a good thing. I didn't want it to fall on. So basically what I did was, I have this punch here, and I slid it over just like that. See that? Right here, just slid it over. Then I just took one of my tools here off the IDL, and this here is just basically a big block Chevy spacer. Okay, spring spacer. Remember, it goes underneath the spring in case you had rotators. You take the rotators off, then you can now run these. Okay, and I just set it, and I had it set right there on top. Okay, just like that. Then I just stuck it in like that, and then I tapped it. Okay, just barely tapped it until it just slid. On. So what I'm going to do in the future, when I get a chance, what I'm thinking is I'm going to make this one piece, okay? Because this here is used for 2 parts on this. What I'm going to show you, this is going to be used twice, okay? So I'm going to make one piece of stock and put it on the lathe, and I'm going to have an opening for one side for one setting, and the other side to do my other part, okay? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's say now you have this is open now, let's say, and it goes on, okay? And it goes all the way on. You push it all the way down to the O-ring. Now the O-ring sets this the right height, okay? The O-ring's gonna set it to where it's not coming out of the bypass restrictor plate. So, and it kind of holds it for you too. Okay, so once you do that, what I did was, this is just a bearing race, okay? And once again, I set it right back on there. And I had to do it like that because the cone here was out farther than the race, and so I needed that hole there. So now you can see why I can make one of these, you know, one piece, have it so I can do this, and then flip it over so I can do the little hammer job, okay? So that's all I did that. Then I dropped this all the way on, and I push it against the rubber O-ring. Now, it's up to you. I made my own little crimping tool out of an old pair of needle nose, and you kind of see a hole in it, and the hole's kind of sharp, all right? You can go in there, and you kind of pinch it, okay? You kind of crimp it. I'm gonna make a little better set because these were actually a little bit flimsy. It needs to be a little more solid, but make you some kind of a crimp, even if it's little barbs, you know, like little nails sticking out or whatever, just so you can kind of crimp that in there. Okay, you can do that first, or the way I did it first, I'm gonna show you, is once I had that on there, say it's, you know, it's all the way onto the rubber O-ring, I use, because I swear by this stuff, I use it for a lot of things, is the super glue, the ultimate super glue. Okay, this guy right here. And what I did was I just put, say the hat is on there, I just put just one drop, one. Oh, I didn't show it in the camera, did I? I just kind of went 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, I kind of spaced them evenly. Just one little drop. I didn't try to fill it. Just a drop. Okay. Now the hat is on there. Within, I don't know, 30 seconds, no more than a minute, you can't pull that thing off of there. Okay. So it's on there. Okay. It's on there. So what I did was I did my gluing first. Well, the O-ring kept it from going down into the thermostat, okay? Plus, it kind of got on the O-ring, so now the O-ring is kind of like helping holding it too, because the O-ring is tied around this brass part here. So then, after it was all said and done, I got my crimper and I kind of re-crimped, you know. And I went around it, did crimp. And overall, it all worked. It all worked great. And I've already boiled this, not this one, the other one. This one here, I've already stuck it in the boiling water about 11 or 12 times. Okay, I let it cool all the way. Then a little bit later, I went in there and I boiled water with this in there, and it opened every time. Okay, it opened every time. I used hot water and it opened every time. I always want to make sure, and I want to make sure this didn't come loose, and it didn't. Okay. And I'm still going to run one of these anyway in the vehicle, which the vehicle is not, probably won't get as hot as I got that water in that pan. But I can say about 11 or 12 times throughout the day, I just kept going in there and I let this thing go all the way cold. And then I reheated it. You know, I wanted to make sure nothing was going to happen, and nothing did. Like I say, it's on there, okay? And so I feel good about it. Even if something did happen, or let's say it came off, I think it's not going to be a good deal. I mean, having this in your system maybe, but these, you know, we don't hear about these Robert Shaws falling off, you know, or nothing like that. No case of that ever, but it's just crimped too. If you look real close, see the little dimples way up. I can't get my fingers all the way underneath there. See, it's crimped on also. So basically, if you can get a crimp and the glue, you're golden. And like I say, and then you can get a razor blade after it's all dry, and you can cut that O-ring off if you don't want to have that O-ring on there, which I think the O-ring is pretty cool. So anyway, that's the whole story there. So the Robert Shaw, also the guys with the 351Ms and the 400s use them also. I can't even talk now. Let me get a drink. Use these, but they can actually use the Windsor style as long as it has a foot. The foot looks more like a washer. It doesn't have a hat. It's more like a washer. And the reason why is the 351M and the 400 doesn't run a bypass or a restrictor plate. It actually has just a cast-in tube that's sticking up. And so you just want, and so it doesn't have this, it's just a tube with a 3/4 hole in the center. Actually, I think it's a little bigger than that. And so this, when it opens, that hat is still gonna kind of go into that tube, but the tube's not near as big around as that. The outside diameter of that tube is nothing compared to the outside diameter of this. So the body, this body here really, and it's got a little taper on it too, as you can see, really does, it sits on it, but it's not like, it's cast iron. It's made with the block, so it can rust and pit and everything. That was why they put these in the Cleveland, the 351s, because this is brass and it doesn't really pit or nothing. It doesn't get hurt by the coolant. And you press this in. This is pressed all the way into a little spot in there, okay, for this to sit on. So it's actually more ideal to get the Windsor style. And when I say Windsor style, it looks like a Chevrolet one, you know, just the basic, without this big body. There you go. You know, and we see them all the time. It's real common, okay? But it has a, I'm gonna call it a foot, because a lot of guys call it a foot because it's not really a hat. And it kind of goes over that pipe. Some say it still goes in the pipe a little bit and restricts. Some say it actually covers the pipe. And there are, I don't know what the part numbers are, but there are part numbers and you can get that one. So who knows, we might think of another kit that we can carry around with this. Okay, so anyway, this is the Robert Shaw, the real deal, the 333. This is just a AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Summit, Jags, whatever, wherever you go, this is that one there with just a hat stuck on that I stuck on there just to get you moving, okay? Because like I say, it might be a weekend and nobody's open to get this, and you need to get going. And who wants to be stuck somewhere out there and you're like, I don't want to stay here for 3 or 4 days. You know, I just want to keep moving. So if you can find someone to take you to or you know, have one brought to you wherever you're stuck, or if you're not that far from an intersection where they have a parts house, go in there. And if they have at least this one without the hat, then you just pull your little kit out and go to town. Like I say, it's not really that complicated. It's almost stupid simple, okay? It's stupid simple, yeah. But I think if you have your own little setup, make your own little setup and just throw it in a little bag or something and tuck it away in the car. And like I say, when I get the 69 finished, I'm running a tall deck in the 69 and I'm planning on doing some traveling with that. So I'll probably just run this one, or this one I may put this in something else before then, but I might just go this way and just go for it, you know what I'm saying? And then carry a little tool pouch that's specially just for thermostat. You can even throw a wrench inside that little pouch that takes the thermostat housing off, and you can carry some extra gaskets or buy the gaskets when you get to the parts house, okay? So again, this video wasn't trying to explain how the water runs. It was just how you get out of a jam or a predicament if all of a sudden something happened to your thermostat. Even if it happened to the one from the parts house, you know, at least you still can keep moving. The whole idea is to keep moving. Then when you get back or whatever, you can order the Robert Shaw 333 from whoever you want to get that from. Like I said, there's one main manufacturer, and then there's like 3 or 4 other people that have them. I think he just gives them some or makes a deal with them or however he does it. So that's that. Anyway, so just remember, just go get your O-ring kit, which these things come in super handy for other things, so you should always carry an O-ring kit anyway. I always buy the Gorilla. I use this stuff for a lot of things. but I get it from Home Depot. I always go to Home Depot because I know exactly where it sits and where it's at. I always just grab it from there. I don't drive around hunting for it. And this is the ultimate. It's called the ultimate, and it really, and it's not the gel. I like the liquid. I don't get the gel. It is the liquid, but they do have one that's a gel. Okay, I don't get that one. But I've already used this so many times for other things, not even automotive related. You know, throughout the years, and that's always been my favorite one. So it's never failed me yet. Okay, and then a set of spark plug indexers, and a lot of guys have these in their toolbox already anyway. And you can, like I say, you can still buy these from different places and just drop this whole bag inside your deal. I mean, think about it. You got a lot of thermostats you can actually do. So anyway, I guess that's it. I think I showed exactly how I did that one. But, okay, enough of that. So anyway, there we go. I got a lot going on here in the garage though. I've been doing a lot of stuff, so I haven't really been on the camera too much. I did post some few things on the group sites. Those are easy. That's easy to do. The YouTube stuff's a little different, you know, but takes a little more time and stuff. So anyway, that's that, and I'm always showing different stuff, you know. I mean, half my stuff I don't use. I'll do things with these tooling that wasn't even it's meant for, you know what I'm saying? It's not even meant for it. Just like I just showed cutting caps, you know, 4-bolt main caps to fit on them, a tall deck, using a boring bar, standing up on a block, you know what I mean? It's like, people are like, no, that doesn't seem right, but it's just, I do a lot of stuff like that. I can show a lot of stuff. It's really cool stuff. And to me, and it's still old school. Okay, yeah, they have machines now that can just kick things out all the time. But old school guys still use their hands and use their brain and use whatever equipment they got. Okay, and I'm never gonna go buy any new equipment. So I can just tell you that right now. So anyway, that's all that. Cool. All right. So I hope you enjoyed that. Make you guys some little kits if you're a 335 series guy that's driving around. That's simple. Like I say, it seemed like it was a lot of talking, but you could probably do it in about 5 minutes once you have this kit. It's just, once you made your little kit and you know it works after you make your first one. Now, if it ever happens or your buddy needs one or whatever, you know, a friend of yours calls you and says, hey, do you got a Robert Shaw? Man, mine's whatever. Boom, just slide that O-ring on, open that hat a little bit, slide it on, glue it, crimp it, and they're gone. Okay, that's it. All right, so until next time, hopefully soon, I say, because it's been a while, but you guys, like always, stay safe out there. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.